So, start this off with a little bit of a spoiler warning. I mean, you should have watched it, but if you didn't watch last week's Mandalorian episode, you should probably not watch this video. But the spoiler is Luke Skywalker returns. And it was a really cool scene. And I couldn't help but think, well, this is cool and all, but it's going to lead up to The Last Jedi, which really kind of ruined this character for a lot of people. And there's a lot of people salty on the fact that he even returned in the first place, which I'll get into. But apparently there's a rumor. I don't know how much stock I put in this, but it would make sense. I think this rumor does make sense. I want to start off here before we get into the next part of the video. The rumor here is that they're going to retcon The Last Jedi and basically make it so that the reason he went to that island and hid away and did all the stuff he did was to protect Grogu, who's Baby Yoda, and keep him safe, even from Rey. So to throw people off, basically, he went over there to keep Grogu safe and alive. Now, how they'll do that, I don't know. I imagine you could do it in comic books. You could do it in a Luke Skywalker miniseries, which is a big rumor going around, and I wouldn't doubt it if they're going to do that. You could do it with deepfake technology and de-aging technology. There's actually a comparison video going around where they showed the Mandalorian scene with deepfake, and it looked a lot better than PS4 Luke. There was that de-aging stuff isn't perfect. They'd be better off using deepfake, and it would look a lot better. You still got Mark Hamill apparently willing to dub the character's voice. So if you use deepfake or CGI or whatever you do, apparently he'll still jump in and do it. I think that's great. So doing a Luke Skywalker series would make a lot of sense. And I guess they're kicking it around, and it would make sense to do because here's the thing. And they mentioned this in the Bounding into Comics article here. Toy makers need Luke. Video game creators need Luke. The merchandise needs Luke. That's where Star Wars makes the majority of its money, is in the merchandise. And guess what? The merchandise isn't selling. Go and look at the toy department at whatever store you go to. Next time, I just go look at how much stuff they have dedicated to Star Wars. It's very small, and right now it's mostly Mandalorian stuff. Nobody wanted Rey toys. Nobody wanted Rose Tico toys. Nobody wanted purple-haired Admiral toys. They want Luke. They want the classic characters. They want Mandalorian characters. They want them. They want the good stuff. Luke is a big one. So to redeem him would kind of fix the character and turn him back into a true hero, and it would be smart because then you could make a bunch of toys surrounded, like you could make a bunch of Luke variations, right, for the new show. It would be smart, and it would get the character elevated again. They also talk about there might be a Grogu trilogy. I don't know about all that, but I could definitely see them because he ages so slowly. You could jump past the sequel trilogy, have that character connected to Luke Skywalker by having him now trained by Luke Skywalker, and Luke Skywalker essentially sacrificing himself to keep Grogu safe. And that would be a satisfactory way to start a new trilogy with a new Jedi trained as him, you know, an old Grogu, basically a new Yoda. It's kind of a lazy storytelling, but it would work. Nobody's expecting Oscar level masterpieces with Star Wars, but we do want good characters, and the sequel trilogy characters are shit. So, Luke Skywalker, kind of getting a little bit of love. He was trending pretty much all weekend because he's back, but he's a big deal. So, of course, Birds of Prey Batgirl writer Gail Simone is back. The Mary Sue worships the ground she walks on. I haven't talked about her in a while. Last time I talked about Gail Simone is when she melted down because Birds of Prey was a flop. Because guess what? If DC comic book movies do good, usually the people that helped build that comic book stuff as a writer and an artist usually get royalties from the stuff used from their work. So Gail Simone would have made a big, pretty penny from that Harley Quinn Birds of Prey movie. but the movie bombed, and she had a big meltdown on Twitter. Well, she's back! She's back to chime in about Star Wars and talk about Luke Skywalker being a Mary Sue. And the Mary Sue jumps in to talk about it. They hate that people like this character over Rey. Rey was supposed to be super popular because she's so strong with the Force, which is not the reason that people like characters. They thought they could just make her super powerful and people love her. It's not the way it works. So we get the very famous comparison about him being able to blow up the Death Star and stuff, which I think is stupid. Mark Hamill says he got the Luke Skywalker role by copying George Lucas' exact mannerisms, but sure, Rey is a Mary Sue if it makes you happy. At least she admits that. And then this person says, if your writing is your writing as bad as your general knowledge? As someone who claims to be a writer, you should know what a Mary Sue Gary Stu is. What it is not is a character that copies the creator's mannerisms. What it is what Rey is. It's just case in point. Rey is a Mary Sue. Rey was able to, I forget what you actually call it, but where you can, make people the weak-minded people do things. Like how she got that stormtrooper to leave the room in The Force Awakens with no Jedi training whatsoever. Like that is like an advanced technique for a Jedi to use. And she was able to use it right away. If you remember, Luke couldn't use that until Return of the Jedi. This was after he had a bunch of training. He could finally use that technique. But hey, she can use it right away. No big deal. She's Mary Sue. And it's funny, Gail Simone comes in and admits that. Says she is a common as F archetype, the chosen one, a category of which at least 3 other previous Star Wars characters also belong. This stuff isn't complicated. What are the 3 other characters? If we're just sticking to movies, Anakin, Luke. Luke was never really called, I guess he was kind of called the chosen one. He was the only hope. So Anakin and Luke, chosen one type characters. But Anakin needed a bunch of training, failed miserably, became Darth Vader, eventually was redeemed, but it's a little bit of a different story for him. And then Luke went through a lot of pain and suffering to get to where he was. I don't really need to get into that. Rey was basically just able to do anything and everything. She never had any problems getting her power. And by the third one, she was trained by Leia, and she's able to sit there and have like gigantic boulders swirling around her when she meditates. Like, come on, that's kind of advanced considering she was never trained by a Jedi Master. Really, you can't even say she was trained by Luke. Luke gave her like 3 lessons. She basically had to read old, boring books to like get the powers that she had. Like, and how would she even understand the stuff in those books without any training? But we don't need to go that deep into it. Mark Hamill says he got, so I already read that one. That's about the mannerisms. Luke has like 10 minutes of training, then blows up a Death Star from the cockpit of a ship he's never flown before, let alone in space, without the use of targeting, but Rey's abilities are an issue. Well, it was established quickly, though, I'll give you that he is a pilot. So him being able to fly the X-Wing isn't that complicated. Rey did the same thing in a lot of ways because she could fly some junker tractor or whatever she was on. Automatically, she can fly the Millennium Falcon. All right. But the 10 minutes of training and blows up the Death Star is a little bit different. He kind of just used his feelings and his eyesight, if you remember, to blow up the Death Star. Trust in the Force. He did. And he blew it up. The Force, technically, I guess, blew up the Death Star, right? Because it helped guide him. It helped him. Like, he didn't do it. Mary Sue Rey can use the Force right away and bend it to her will pretty much throughout the entire sequel trilogy. So she comes in. He's the most Mary Sue of all Mary Sues. I don't care. Neither should anyone else. I still love him. No, he's not a Mary Sue. It took a lot of training and time for Luke to get to Last Jedi level. Okay. Rey was using advanced powers in The Force Awakens. Hell, she beats... because Kylo's not technically a Sith, but he had tons of training, and she was able to take him down in the first movie. I mean, the sequel trilogy is shit. The sequel trilogy is shit. Come on. Everyone knows it. This is why the merchandise doesn't sell. This is why you can't sell Rey figures or any of these figures. Like, the toys don't sell. I mean, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Just go watch a World Class Bullshitters video where they literally go into these toy stores where they're all on clearance and stack out. Nobody's buying the stuff. The only people that bought Rose Tico toys were Ethan Van Sciver. He was the only one that bought them. So then you get here a bunch of salty comments. Like, look at all these comments. It's always fun to read through Mary Sue comments. Like, these people are furious about Luke. Like, it's funny the salt around Luke being redeemed with a lot of these people. And a lot of this is because, well, The Last Jedi is a masterpiece. We can't do that because it would derail that movie. If this movie gets retconned, and I hope it does, and they give the reasons for him going and leaving to go protect Grogu, I hope that they do that. And there'll be all the salt because Rian Johnson, or Ryan Johnson, or however you say his name, people see this guy as the god of Star Wars. The people that went with him because that movie divided the fandom, they see this guy as like the messiah of Star Wars. That movie was shit. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out.